All right, boys, how's it going? Today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Let me get the chat box up and running as I always have to do. And okay, right there. There we go. Now I can move it out of the way so that I can give you guys my complete and utter full attention. How's it going? I hope everybody's having a great start of the week. I know that I am. I mean, yesterday I had such a productive day working on the game on my Mac. I didn't have any problems at all with my game. And then I you know, if anybody knows me, you know that I am an American football fan. I do like to specify and say American football, but I am an American football fan, and let's just say I couldn't be more proud of my team. I could not be more proud of the team. Okay, let me see. As I was saying, half the music. Okay, so the music is a little loud. But like I was saying, I could not be more proud of my team. Like, you know, just yesterday was just such a great day that I got so much done on my game. I ended up being very proud of my American football team, and it was wonderful. I could not have asked for a better day. I could not have asked for a better. So if you couldn't tell, that was a bit of sarcasm. But one good thing did come from yesterday, and that is the discovery of this song. And I'm not even joking about that. I do love this song, but I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn it off because I don't want to offend everybody. Let me go ahead and find some actual background music that we can listen to, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I think we're going to work on the great big refactor of 2025. Let me see. Is this good? I think we'll just go with an oldie but a goodie is what we'll stick with. And then, as always, what is this? Oh, boy, somebody's trying to hack something. I'm getting a link verification code at 5:55, so I'm not even sure what link is. Link, like what would link be? I feel it sounds familiar, but it's not automatic. I mean, it's not LinkedIn because I don't participate in that idiot stuff. So link.com is a wallet designed for the internet, which I don't think let me see. Did I sign up for one? It's in Spanish for some reason. Okay, well, there we go. It does. It is asking me. Okay, we sent you a text. All right. Let's see. I know I'm doing this off screen, but let's see. What more can we do? No, okay, whatever. I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to start the show like I often do by sending the stream out to a few friends and family, and then we'll get started, and I will give you guys my full and utter attention. All right, so I'm going to send the stream to my friend Johnny Gators. I'm going to send the stream to my friend David. And of course, I'm going to send it to the beautiful Lisa. I'm going to send it to my friend Robbie. I'm going to send it to my friend Chokiet. I'm going to send it also to my friend Nick. And is there anybody I'm forgetting? Yes, I need to go over to Instagram and I need to send it to Razman the Single Man. Well, no, he's not single. The Singleton Man. Oh, hi, honey. I gotta stop with Instagram again. Like it doesn't matter how many people I unfollow. It's like I log on to Instagram and it's still just like front page, this picture of hot girl. Because let's be honest, that's all Instagram is for. It's just for hot girls to just like to basically justify their existence with likes. And they'll get upset if they don't get a certain amount of like my wife does that. Like my wife is literally just like, oh, can you like my post? Because not a lot of people are liking it. Like, can you like it? And it's just like, why? Like, I mean, I enjoy getting likes on my posts. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't live and breathe likes. Okay, so, oh boy. Oh man. What a Monday. My Commanders. My Washington Commanders. Oh my God. You got to understand. I grew up. Like some of the earliest, and I've talked about this before, but some of the earliest memories I have are of my mother being hungover and putting me in front of the television on a Sunday, and I would just sit there and I would watch football all day long. That's some of my earliest memories. Like literally, I was like 4, 5, 6 years old in these memories. First grade, because I remember the apartment where we lived. So it would have been first grade. So whatever age you're at in first grade, I think it's like 6, 7. And then also, so my Washington, they were always, of course, the Washington Redskins, really. I remember very clearly when they won Super Bowl 17. And I remember being happy, and I remember like my family being happy, mostly like the I grew up around women, so it was mostly their boyfriends being happy. I don't think the women could have cared less, but I just had a lot of memories of like Super Bowl 17 when they played the Miami Dolphins, and I remember that, and it was just a great, it was just, what I'm trying to think of what year it was, 83, 82, 83. So I have memories of that. And then the next year in Super Bowl 18, they got destroyed by they were the Raiders, but I don't know what city they were at that time, because the Raiders have moved around quite a bit. It was the Los Angeles Raiders, and they got beat 38-9. And I remember crying. That's how I loved this team. I remember crying when the Washington Redskins lost. They went on to win they won another Super Bowl, I think in like 92, 91, 92, 93, somewhere around there. And so the 80s and the 90s, they were for a long time like the gold standard of the NFL. They were some years they were the best team. Other years they were like one of the best teams, right? It was always a struggle between being the best or one of the best. They were just this amazing team. And that's how I grew up. I grew up as a fan of this amazing team. And then in the early 2000s, I think it was either 1999 or 2000, the team got bought by this guy, Dan Snyder. And he kind of became a villain. He was this rich billionaire kid, basically, at the time. He was like in his 20s or 30s when he bought the team. He was really young. And he was a fanboy. And he had a lot of money, and he bought the team. And he just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to, like, there's all kinds, like, depending on who you ask and everything. Like the owner, Dan Snyder, he was a terrible owner, according to a lot of people. And he did skeevy things like having the cheerleaders dance in his office and crap like, just kind of like, I'm a rich guy and I'm going to pretend like it's the 1950s where you grab the secretary's ass kind of thing. And so he was more or less this evil villain. In the team under Dan Snyder, like, he was also known for hiring people to make coaching decisions and then phoning in draft decisions from his yacht. So he would basically hire people to come in and be like, I want you to build this team, and I'm going to give you control over who you can select who's going to be on the team. And then he would phone in and be like, no, I don't want you to select that person. I want you to select this other person. And they're like, and these are people that worked in football all their life. And this guy was just a billionaire. And but of course he's the boss. Like you can't tell him no. So, but as a result, the team was just shit. It was just shit for a long time. Like, it was terrible. And they had kind of a glimpse of greatness in like 2012, 11, 12, 13, somewhere around there when they got this quarterback RG3, Robert Griffin III, and he had a great first year. Just like it was like a turnaround year. Like he was an awesome quarterback, and he took the team to the playoffs, and I can't remember if they won a playoff game or if they lost the playoffs, but the fact that they got to the playoffs was just that was seen as a victory, right? Because that was just amazing. And then he gets hurt in the playoff game. The quarterback, Robert Griffin III, He was never himself again after that. And he was just plagued with injuries in his second year. And like, they just kind of were just a shell of themselves the second year. And then I don't even know if Robert Griffin III started the third year but basically they said goodbye to him at some point and he was gone. And, so it was like Robert Griffin III was like a season of greatness, and then it just petered out. It was just boom. And then for like the next 10, 12 years, it was awful. It was awful. So in a regular season football, in a regular season of a football season, there are 17 games. Each team plays 17 games. And there were years where the Washington Redskins, Commanders football team, whatever you want to call them, won 3. And like, it was a good year if they won 5, right? Like, they were just abysmal. So then last year in 2024, so there's always like young kids coming out of college, and then like, you know, the kids play college, and then the ones who are like the best of the best, obviously the NFL is going to be scouting them and draft them. And so last year, the draft class of last year was considered like one of the best for quarterbacks, which was great because the Washington Commanders, they didn't have any decent quarterbacks. I should also mention that in early 2024, Dan Snyder, the evil villain, he sold the team. The team was sold. And so everybody was like, all the fans were just like, oh, thank God the bad days are over. And like, new owners came in and fired everybody and brought in new everybody. And like, it was just like, oh God, it was amazing. And then since they had done so horrible the year before, they had the second pick in the draft, like the second overall pick in the draft. So they were like, okay, well, you know, we're going to pick a quarterback. And they picked this guy, Jaden Daniels. I was going to say Jaden Daniels the third, but I'm pretty sure it's just Jaden Daniels. And last year was his first year. They picked him. He starts last year. It was incredible. They went to the playoff game, and I'm sure even if you are from England, that you know that you've heard of the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl is like the championship game in American football. It is the game, and the Redskins or the Commanders, whatever, they got to the game before that. They got to the playoff game, and that if they had won that, they would have gone on to the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, they lost that game. But it didn't matter. Like, I mean, it kind of sucked, but it was like, fuck, he got us, like, we got one game away from the Super Bowl in just a year. And it was more or less entirely attributed to this guy, Jaden Daniels. This guy, it was mostly attributed to him. And because he was just like an amazing quarterback. But I have my criticisms of him, but whatever. So obviously, they finish the year one game short of the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter. Still an amazing year. And so obviously this year there's big expectations, right? There's huge expectations because it's like, well, shit, like he almost got us to the Super Bowl last year. And now we know where the deficiencies are in the team. So we can fix those deficiencies and we should be able to go even further this year. It has been a horrible year. It has been horrible. They have won 3 games out of 8 or 9. I don't remember offhand, but they have already lost 3 and 6. So out of 9 games, they've won 3. They had last year, the whole year in the regular season, they lost 5 games. So now they have already lost more games this year than they did the entirety of last year. And Jaden Daniels, the quarterback, he has been hurt 3 times this year. 3 times. Each time was like a game missing injury. And then last night, as you might know, I was really cranky and I was watching the game, but it was obvious I didn't really think that they were going to win. I didn't think they really had any hope of winning, but I was watching the game And then I was like, you know what? Like it was halftime, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. Like I'm not gonna stay up and watch the rest of the game. I'm gonna go to bed. And then I wake up this morning to see what the score was, and then I just see headlines: Jaden Daniels out for the season, possibly. Jaden Daniels injury, possibly out for the season. This is the injury. An elbow is not supposed to bend that way. It like look at this. He goes down. Like you look at that and you're like, no, elbows don't bend like that. They don't bend like that. It literally bent backwards. So they're saying, so there's two good things about this, right? Is one that it's a dislocation. It's nothing broke. I guess last I heard, they still don't know if there's like ligament or nerve damage. That like still don't quite know, but whatever. But that's one good thing, that nothing was broken. And then the other good thing is that is not his throwing arm. Because if you don't know anything about football, the quarterback's job, the quarterback always gets the ball. And then the quarterback can either throw it, he can either hand it off, or he can run it himself. So the throwing arm is very, very important. And so it's not, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The season's over. The season is over. I mean, but it was over a couple of games ago. Like it was obvious that this team was just a shell of themselves because of injuries and everything. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing because you had such high hopes for them coming out of last year, that the amazing season that they had last year. And this season has just been, well, first of all, it's just been one injury after another, and not even of this guy, Jaden Daniels. Like the entire team is just like injury prone. And like, so the next game, which I think is Sunday evening, I'm not sure, or is it Sunday at 1:00? It's Sunday at 4:25 p.m. So, they're playing this game. They're playing this team, the Lions. The Lions last year were favorite to win the Super Bowl. And so the Redskins get deep into the playoffs, and then they're going to play the Lions. And everybody's like, well, the Commanders had a great season, but obviously they don't stand a chance against the Lions. And then by some amazing luck, they actually beat the Lions, therefore ruining the Lions' chances of going to the Super Bowl, just ruining it. And so next week. And so the Lions are still doing really well. This year, the Lions are doing really well. Like they're still expected to go to the playoffs, possibly the Super Bowl. And the Commanders can't do anything. They can't do anything. And it's just like the Lions, they're looking for blood. They're looking for revenge because the Commanders knocked them out of the playoffs last year. And it's just like, I will not be surprised if the Lions score 50 points on the Commanders, which if you don't know anything about football, 50 points is a lot. 38 points is a lot. So it would not surprise me if the Lions come in and basically they just raw dog, just no mercy, just go all bones out. Like it's going to be ugly. I'll be there watching because I am a fan for life, regardless of this team, whether the team is given, through the ups and downs, although there have been very few ups in recent years. It's mostly been down. I'll be watching, but oh my God. But just like literally just having like this shitty day yesterday, then going to bed and just like, I watched the game for a little bit in bed. And I was like, no, I'm just going to go to sleep. I just turned the game off. I was like, I know they're going to lose. I'll just go to sleep. And then I wake up expecting there to be a loss. And obviously there was a loss, but it was even worse than a loss because now Jaden Daniels oh my God, just what a nightmare. Just what a complete nightmare. Lisa is in the chat room. Hi, Addie. Hi, Lisa. Missed you. We missed you too, Lisa. Lisa's saying hi to Matthew. Matthew's saying hi to Lisa. Razman is in the house. I love that skeleton animation. Are you talking about Jaden Daniels? The Jaden Daniels? That's the thing that drives me nuts about Jaden Daniels, though. He loves to run the ball, which I think is terrible for a quarterback. He does. He just loves to run the ball. But look at him. He weighs like 110 pounds soaking wet. Like literally one of my legs probably weighs more than he does. And he's out there running, like being chased by guys who are like 300 pounds, 200 pounds of which is all pure muscle. And it's like, it was only a matter of time. And honestly, I think this team needs to move on from Jaden Daniels. Like, that's my personal opinion, but whatever, because he's just going to, he has been injured 3 times this season. He's lucky that this was not a career-ending injury. But at the rate he's going, it's just a matter of time before his style of play results in a career-ending injury. So whatever. Razman says, "Why are we talking about football and not the Toronto Jays? Is that baseball or hockey? Like, I literally don't know. Is it the Toronto Blue Jays? It's a baseball team. Okay. Are they doing well? I thought baseball was over. Hasn't the World Series already happened? Like, I'm not even being cheeky. World Series. Oh, is it going on? Or wait, did they win? Okay, October 30th. Okay, so the World Series, it's 7 games, best of 7, and LAD won. So the Los Angeles Dodgers, I'm guessing, is what that is. So why are we talking about the Jays? They're a bunch of losers. Like, they lost, apparently. Like, that's what I'm seeing here. The Los Angeles Dodgers win 4-3. So why would we talk about a bunch of losers? Heck if I know. Razman, it just finished. They almost won. Well, yep, almost. Yep, you know what? The Commanders almost got to the Super Bowl last year, and well, you see where that got them this year. Yep, you see where that got them. Got them nowhere. All right, let me see. What is this? Okay, let me see. Okay, Matthew David says, nah, gay. I'm going to call David gay. Is there anybody else I want to send the link to? Looking. I've always been very tempted to send it to my daughter, but I never have. Mostly because I don't think my daughter particularly likes me already. So, there's no point in even making that even worse, making that situation even worse. Yeah, there's nobody really nobody else I want to send the link to. Okay. So tonight, I'm hesitant to start this because it's like one of those things where it's going to be a pain in the ass to kind of start and stop and pick up later, which I think is what's going to happen because I don't think I'm going to finish it in the next 2.5 hours that we're here. But we're going to start the great input refactor of 2025. And let me see. What were we doing here? Okay, let me just save this and then just do a get reset. All right, get reset hard, and then we got this. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So I had some other thoughts about this where I really want multiple inheritance, or I want to turn this into an interface because I would really like to have the classes that are going to handle input derived from an input handler in order that would make it better to be able to enforce certain constraints, but maybe that's not really necessary. That may not be necessary. All right, let's see. Okay, so we come over here. We were showing some stuff. It just finished. Oh, okay, I already read that. Well, I got into baseball one time. Like, typically I find baseball to be a very boring sport. It's just, in fairness, all sports are boring unless you have some emotional stake in the game, right? Like, it's just how it is. Like with World Cup soccer, I love World Cup soccer. And then, so the first year I ever got really, really into World Cup soccer, I was into it, and then it ended, and I was sad, and I was like, well, hey, look at this, there's like this, there's other soccer, and God forbid, like in Europe, oh my shit, God, there's tons of soccer leagues in Europe. I don't understand how the championship system works in soccer. It seems like there's a new championship every day. Like, oh no, look, the Premier League, or the I don't know, the Illegal League, or the Towel League. Like there's a ton of fucking leagues, and like they all have their own championships, and then there's like interleague champion. Like it's a fucking mess. But the point is that I remember getting really, really into World Cup soccer, and I wanted to kind of like continue enjoying and consuming soccer, and I couldn't, because so I tried watching MLS, which is the American Soccer League, and I had no interest in it. Like I was like, nah. And actually, I think a big part of what that was, and this is going to sound, now I don't know what it's like anymore, but I think a big part of what that was about was the quality of the broadcast. Like, obviously, World Cup soccer is like the biggest sporting event in the world. Like, I think it's even bigger than the Olympics. And so obviously, just like the quality of like the camera views and like the camera, like just like the quality of the broadcast was just like, I was spoiled by that. And then like I go and I watch MLS, which is fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the quality of it, but it was just like, it was just kind of like after watching World Cup soccer, it was just like, okay, well, that's shit. So anyway, all right. So I wanted to, let's see, come over here. I wanted to get to the folder of this. Where is this at? This is game scripts. Okay, so it's in game scripts. It's in the, okay, it's right here. Perfect. Okay, so I just want to put this in the same place. Okay, so we do have an input manager. We have this whole input manager state. This was like a state type system that I was like I had an idea, and actually this shouldn't be input manager. This should be like UI manager. So let's actually do that now. Let's change this to well, first of all, before I do anything, let me see what okay, I'm on master. So let me go ahead. I know Matthew, I get the feeling that Matthew like often deletes his branches because he's constantly like, you have 45 branches and 16 of them are open. And I'm just like, shut up, nerd. All right. So let's see. Okay. We got UI. We'll go there. Okay. So then we're going to do this. Okay. So we're going to go, okay. UI manager state. Right. Where is not sure? Like I see him posting. I see not sure writing in the in Discord, but not. He's probably at the goddamn gym. He's probably at the gym, like where we should be. We're like honestly where we all should be. We should all be in the gym. Okay. Let's see. Housekeeping. No. Like you've got 25 branches open. No, I'm not going to fork my own repo. All right. So UI manager. And then that'll change the file name. Excellent. Brendan Martinez is in the house. Rest in peace, Commanders. I know, man. I know. Like, I just got done talking about that. It is sad. It sucks. It really sucks. It really, really sucks. But, and it's like I was really, like, I'm getting older. We're all getting older, right? I'm 50 years old. I feel like I mentioned that at least once a week, but I was hoping, like, I was literally like, there's a couple of things I'd like to see before I die. Like a couple of grandkids. That would be nice to see. A president of a third party. Probably not going to happen. And the Redskins going back to the Super Bowl. And at this point, I'm starting to think that a president of a third party being elected is more likely to happen than the Redskins going back to the Super Bowl. That's just what I'm thinking. That's just what I'm thinking. Okay, so let's go ahead and just check this in this rename. So this is obviously going to change everything. Like there's one class using this input manager bullshit. So this was a dumb idea on my part, but all right. Renaming input manager to UI manager. I guess I could remove. What do I have in UI here? Oh, that's other stuff. Okay. What the hell is fill? Fill prefab asset. Well, is it being, okay. Find references in scene. No, it is not being used anywhere. I think we will delete that. All right. I don't know what fill is. I don't know how it got checked in, but that's fine. I'm very forgiving in this project because if I haven't mentioned it, this is my first Unity project. So I'm trying to be a little forgiving with myself and allowing it to be a little sloppy and a little messy because it's my first project. So, you know, how well organized was your first Unity project? Let's be honest. Okay. Let's be honest. It probably wasn't that well organized. If we're being honest with ourselves, it wasn't that well. Like, I don't know what it looked like, but I know it wasn't that well organized. All right, so let's see. All right, so we got this. We got input processor. So I think we can actually go ahead and create another one called input manager. Yake online. Hello, Yake. Mr. Yake, how are you, sir? A mess. Yes, yes. Matthew says a mess. Yes, it is. There goes my hard work. Joking. No idea where Phil came from. Phil was a very meticulously. Oh, and then I did want to ask Matthew, like, is this canvas like abnormally large? So I was following a tutorial yesterday on particle systems and I was trying to make it rain, you know, like make it rain, and like. The particles, the size of the particle system in the tutorial versus the size of the particle system in this map, it was a world of difference. It was like basically the map that the guy was using, the particle system was nearly the size of the map. Whereas in here, it was like a little dot, it felt like. So I was like, okay, like, is it really that huge? Maybe it is. Okay. So how are we going to do this? I wish Lisa was here to do this for me, but I don't think she's even in the room anymore. Okay. How do we, so input processor will, so this is what I was kind of, oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. There's something I need to do before I do anything else. And I think I need to separate out inventory dialog. I did that on my Mac yesterday, but I'm still a little traumatized from yesterday. Yesterday was just all around not a great day. And so I don't want to talk about it anymore. I've talked about it enough. You know, if you really want to know, you can just back the stream up. Okay, so wait a minute. Let's see. So we have that. Okay, so I think oh, wait. Okay, press M. Okay. Okay, so I did check in that. Okay, so the inventory dialog was pulled out of the codex overlay. Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull up the input dialog as kind of as my guiding light not input dialog, inventory dialog, inventory UI, I think it is called. And so the inventory UI will what I mean by that is the inventory UI will kind of be it'll be like the first thing that actually uses this new input system. So that's kind of why I want to have it around. All right, so we can do that. So we're going to do that. And we're going to go here. And then we're going to go over here. Oh, shit. No, wait. I didn't mean to do that. God damn it. God damn it, Matthew. Input manager. Input processor. Inventory UI.cs. Okay, let's try not to do that again, okay? Let's try not to do that. I'm blaming Matthew for that one. But, all right, we're going to go over here, and then we're going to go over here. I don't like how you can pin a tab. So with Chrome, if you pin a tab and then do close all, the pin tabs do not get closed. With Visual Studio, pin tabs do get closed when you do close all, because normally you have to do close all but pinned. Well, I thought that was an option. He may just have a different scale, but you only want your rain to follow the player, not cover the whole map. Performance would get hit. I noticed that. That was the other thing that was kind of confusing me, was when I would move the camera around, it was as though the particle system, so not even in game, in the scene view, when I would move the camera around, the particle system was like following the camera, and I was like, wait, I thought I set it over there. But that makes sense what you say. I guess that explains why. Brandon apparently wasn't watching live. Sorry about what happened Sunday night, dude. Oh my God, I didn't see it live either. I watched the first half in my living room, and then when it was obvious that the Commanders were going to lose, I was like, all right, I'll watch the rest of it from bed. I'm weird. I don't like watching like, we don't have a TV in our bedroom, but I was watching on my iPad. I had like, do you guys watch TV in bed? Personally, I hate watching TV in bed. Like, I cannot stand watching TV in bed. The bed is for two things, and two things only: sleepy time and sexy time. That's it. Nothing else. No eating in bed, no watching television in bed, no crafting in bed, no power tools in bed, nothing. No. Sexy time and sleepy time. That's it. So, anyway, but I know some people that fall asleep with it. Like, how do you fall asleep with the television on? Like, there's people, like, I know people that can't fall asleep unless the television is on. And I'm like, how? Like, how is that even legal? Like, no. No. I am a very tolerant person, but there are certain things I will not tolerate. And that is television in bed. I don't like it. We live a whole life in that bed, on that bed. We live a whole life on that bed. No. Look, I'm very much in favor of, like, I'm very much the guy that wants to spend like $100 on a pillow, right? Because the way I see it is, you spend a third of your life on that pillow. You might as well put some money towards that pillow. But like eating, like, or watching, no, my ex had tinnitus. Oh, that's the ringing in the ears thing. Radio and TV helped her sleep. Otherwise, she heard constant ringing. It sounds like it's a good thing. It's your ex. It's your ex's ex. Wait, your ex. I know what you mean. 2 X's ago. I get you. Not the last X, but the X before that X. Okay. Okay. So let's start here. I think what eventually I probably want is just this. I kind of hate this. And the reason I kind of hate this is I might have a need to have another class, to have a, not now inventory UI, and not in this case, but I might have a need for an inventory. How can I word this? I might have a need for a class that needs to use the input processor to derive from something else, not related to the input processor. So that's why you're like, okay, well, use an interface. And I think that's probably what we should try to do at first. Let's try to do that, and let's see where we kind of go wrong. So this is a good prototype of what I want the input processor to look like. It is subject to change. Now, this is not a mono behavior. Why did I? Oh, that's right. I was thinking input processor had to be a mono behavior so that things like inventory UI can be derived from it. Let's see. Okay, come on. If you want my body in, you think I find using interfaces satisfying. I don't know why. Is it just me? Well, I think it's nice when it's nice because it demonstrates a sense of abstraction. I get what you're saying. I mean, I like it too. So like, but I don't think like if we just do this, I mean, like, that's not going to work. Why isn't this red? But wait a minute. These are concrete. I didn't think interfaces could have functions. I mean, I thought they only had abstract functions. Wait a minute. Now I got to look this up. Grok. Come on, Grok. Grok me, baby. Can C# interfaces, not interfaces, interfaces have methods? Like, have concrete methods? I don't think they can. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a compilation error. I'm going to change this back for the time being. Oh my God. Why do I have to undo so much? Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right. So actually F7 should tell me, I guess I'll just name this input processor 2. Yes. Interface contains definition input manager. Wait, where are we? Input manager. Wait, what? Okay. F7 it is. Already contains a definition for input manager. Wait, what? Who? Didn't I rename that? And what is input manager 1? Am I losing my mind? Did I do that? What? Did I do that? I'm losing my fucking mind. Wait, I didn't do, when did I do this? When did I create an input manager 1? Okay, I'm deleting it. I'm losing my fucking mind. This is Razman's fault. I'm flustered because Razman's here. I want to make a good impression. I want to impress the Mexican, but I'm all razzled. I'm all razzled by Razman. All right, let's see. I deleted it. What do you mean it already contained? I literally deleted it. Input manager. Okay, I'm losing my fucking mind. What the fuck? The file's not there. Okay, I'm going to actually see if the file is there. Okay, I'm going to copy this. All right, I'm going to copy that. Easy. File's not there. The file does not exist. It's a blank file. Yet Visual Studio, I hit F7. Visual Studio says it contains an error. Apparently it contains an error. How? What the? I mean, I need a new career. I can't do this. I can't do it. I need a new career. I was looking forward to a nice, relaxing, stress-free stream, and I swear, if Visual Studio, if I hit F7 and Visual Studio still tells me that it's fucking named somewhere else, I'm going to fucking lose it. I'm going to lose it. Okay. At least it is a different error. Thank God. UI manager state. Didn't I name it? What the fuck is going on? When did I delete it? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? I check. Oh my fucking God. Okay. When did I delete UI Manager? Discard file changes. Undelete it. I think UI Manager and Input Manager 1 somehow, I think there was like some mix up. Like I know Windows doesn't use inodes, but I think like there was like some inode that didn't refresh, whatever Windows uses. But like, am I insane, or like, am I just like, I really feel like I'm losing my sanity. Like, did you guys see that? Oh my God. Like, I've often thought, like, if you think about people who are like legitimately insane, right? Legitimately insane people. And let's say you have somebody who has legitimate, realistic hallucinations. Like, look at your surroundings right now where you're at. You're touching a wall. You can you can drink a soda. Like, now, how could anybody convince you that that wasn't real and that where you really were was in a padded room in a straitjacket because you had lost your mind and gone insane and were having these hallucinations? Like, how could you ever be convinced of that? Like, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how you could be. All right. Input Manager does not contain a definition for instance. It's because it's a UI manager. Okay. All right. So I need to... Okay. Please refresh. Inventory UI. I literally... Am I look? I'm looking at the right folder. Ooping, get out of here. Okay. I was about to lose my mind because inventory UI. I already checked that in. I need to slow down. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm legitimately feeling like I'm losing my mind. Okay. The UI manager, that stuff is checked in. Apparently, it's not checked in. Okay, apparently it is checked in. It is checked in. The UI manager stuff is all good to go. Okay. All right. Thank God. Because I haven't even started coding the goddamn thing and I'm already stressed out. Oh my God. Okay. So inventory UI we would probably want it to have whatever interface we have here. So I did ask Grok. Where is what I asked Grok? I asked Grok, no, interfaces cannot have concrete implemented methods. Oh my God. Okay, well. Is that not a concrete method? Look at this. Is that not a concrete method? And look at this. That is interface. Oh, wait. C++ 8.0 later, default interface methods. You can now provide default implementations in interfaces. Okay, thank God, because I was losing my fucking mind. Okay, but apparently you cannot do this. That is part of the issue. Sir, remove curlies and put... No, oh my fucking God, Matthew. Yes, I know. That's... Oh my fucking God. I know how to define an interface. I was losing my mind because I didn't think that you could have concrete methods in an interface, and this isn't it, and that's a concrete method. So I was like, why is this compiling? That was my confusion. I'm trying to... Yes, I will go ahead. Yes, I know that this is how you define... yes, I know that, but I'm not... That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. Let's see. What I do want... what I would like to do is have some public members there. I would like to be able to have these as members, but apparently that is not going to be an option. So what we could do... How could... See, I want this... I really want it to be an interface, because what I want to be able to do is this. I want to be able to do... Well, let's just type out what we want over in here. Input processor. So we would want inventory UI to have input processor. Then here, so this is actually a really good use case, because this is the only... Let me make sure. I believe that is the only time we're actually doing input processing in this class. Okay, so that's good. So this is a nice example. So what I would want is for this to basically override and then process inputs. Yeah, I guess that's a fine name as any. And then move this down here. Okay. No, wait. Let me go back to my pattern. Okay, no. So this was actually... No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. So what we could do... Let's see. Instead of... that's not gonna work. Process input. Because what I would... I'm trying to think now, instead of an action handler, how could we make it so that it's a function that we have to override? So in the example, like here, basically we did... Basically in the awake method, we said, okay, in this input processor thingy, the handler is actually this, but how could we make this a function that we have to override instead, but still allow it to be swappable, outable? Or is it okay to just... I really want input processor to be an interface, and I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen with a design that I'm going to be satisfied with. Because what we would actually want in update... Well, it's a good question. What would we want in update? If input processor is dry, well... That's actually an interesting thought. Because if we had an update in here, so say we had this. Right? So now we are requiring this class to implement update. But of course, it's also a mono behavior, which also has an update. So can we... Is that going to break anything? Right? So if we come over here, I'm going to type up a question. Consider this. An interface. Consider this Unity question. assume we have an interface like so, where we have let's say public interface, I don't know, thing, and then it would be public void update. Now assume we have a mono behavior. I hate that there is a U in behavior. What am I spelling? Behavior that implements this interface. Okay. I am concerned. Okay, I am concerned that Unity's, let me see. Method is special and that, let's just turn on word wrap, please. Is special and is called by the engine, and I want to ensure that my thing is called correctly. Will the result... Does that even make sense, though? It probably doesn't make sense. Actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't make sense to do this. But it's actually still an interesting question. What will happen? It's actually an interesting question, but so I don't think we're going to do that way, but I'm curious. Yes, your thing update method we called correctly about Unity's engine. Okay. That's probably not what we want, though. No, it's not what we want. Okay. Let's go back to here. I think, fuck, how are we going to do this? I think we're going to have to do it. I mean, I think the closest we can get is like an abstract class. And at that point, why even bother with the abstractness? But I really want input processor to be more of a decorator than I want it to be the base class. I just have concerns. Like I said, I have concerns where I'm going to want something like inventory UI to derive from something else that is a mono behavior, but that is not input processor. That is my concern. By basically having input processor as a mono behavior, we are now basically, we're throwing some other requirement kind of into the mix. There's got to be a better way to do this. Right? Public interface. Input processor. We can't have that. Activate input. And so, I mean, this actually, we could cheat. We could cheat. I just had an idea. We could cheat. Oh, we could cheat. But at that point, is it even worth doing it? So here's how we could cheat, right? We could have this public interface. I'll clean it up in a second, but we could have a class. So this would be, we'll call this input interface. We'll have a class that's called input processor. And that will do this. We can basically delete that. This would be a mono behavior. This is so ugly. And then we could have input processor. But now what we can do is, since this is an input processor, we can use it to get the concrete to get the concrete input processor. But really, at that point, you're just kind of using it as a variable. That's kind of what you're just basically using this as at that point. So you might as well just do it like I originally had it. I guess maybe I'm being too much of a purist. maybe it's okay to do it as an actual, as a variable, as I had originally planned, right? Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Let's press forward with that. Brother, what are you, brother? What's wrong? Are you talking about my cheating solution? Yeah, I didn't say it was pretty. And that's the thing. If you're going to cheat, at least make sure it's as pretty or prettier. You shouldn't cheat. Don't cheat at all. Don't cheat. Shouldn't cheat. But if you're going to cheat, at least make sure it's as pretty or prettier. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll move forward with the variable solution. We'll move forward with it as a variable. So what does that look like? So that just looks like a concrete class. All right. So let's just get rid of this junk here. No, let's get rid of this junk here. Ooh, it's cold. It's getting cold. I'm going to close one of these windows. My black cat is. I got the windows open because I'm actually gonna put my hat on. It's getting chilly. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. Whoops. All right, now we're getting some nice, calm. We're getting some nice, calm, relaxing programming. Nothing crazy is going on. Nothing. What is this? Who sent me a picture? Carissa and John are getting married. Who's John? Carissa and John are getting married. I got to look at my Instagram for a second. Carissa. Wait, okay. I'm not logged in. Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. Carissa sounds familiar, but I couldn't remember if Carissa was my cousin's daughter or my sister's son's girlfriend. I couldn't remember. Okay. Anyway. All right. So let's see. But Carissa is my cousin's daughter. Okay. Activate the handler, deactivate the handler, process input. So the way we would do this, we're going to have to deal with the input manager. Well, let's deal with the input manager first, kind of. What role did the input? Okay, so the input manager, that's right. So this is, okay, so the input manager is a mono behavior. The input manager is going to have some enums. I'm not crazy about it, but it is what it is. Public enum input state. Ugh, God, I'm already hating this solution. I already don't like it. I really don't, but that's fine. I'm gonna have to press forward. Gameplay, inventory, dialogue. That's all we're gonna have to start out with. I really don't. Oh man, I'm liking this less and less. Oh, come on, guys, you got to give me some encouragement here. I'm liking this less and less. Okay, input state. Public. I can't do this, can I? I was going to call it current state. We'll have a get private set, and then input state equals gameplay. Oh God, how that gets so screwed up. Okay. All right. Current state, and then we need this thing. At least I think we do, but we'll just push forward with it and see if we actually do need it. Okay, so input state. Right, register input handler. Okay, register input handler, input state. So this is the thing that's basically saying, when you're in this state, this is the update method that should get invoked, essentially. All right. All right. I'm liking this less and less, but we're going to keep moving forward. All right. So set focused area. This should actually, or set input state, actually. Let's see what the AI has here. So the AI is basically if input handlers, okay, if input handlers try get value current state. So this is basically just looking at the, I'm going to put a little dash here. Okay, so this is going to try and get a member of this dictionary. If it does, okay, no, it's getting the current handler. So it's deactivate input handler. Okay, so that is getting the object that is in the class. Okay, that makes sense. Current state equals new state input handler, activate input handler. Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay. And then the update. So what we talked about with update was we would have some logic in there. So, oh God. Yeah, we would have input manager would do some auto detection. What I mean by that is it would listen for like I for the inventory. And then if the user pressed I, it would manipulate the states as needed. But so that's the input manager changing the state, and then we'll also have this set input state, which is public on purpose so that outside classes can do it as well. Okay, so this is input handler try get value. How slow is that? Because this is update. I'm not sure I like that. Like, honestly, I kind of think yeah, no, I'm not crazy about that. This might be premature optimization, but I think what we'll do is we'll just have a private current handler. What would it be? It would just basically be an action, right? It would just be public. I'm starting to get a little confused, but it's okay. It's not going to be public. It's just going to be an action. Current handler, right? Is that correct? Input handlers try and get value current state handler. This is the input processor object. Actually, that's what it is. Current handler, input processor. So this would actually just be current handler. No, current handler process input. I was going to say this should never be null. Is that correct? Yeah, I think that's correct. That should never be null. I guess we can put a question mark. Okay. So I need to set current handler, and I guess I would do that here. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to put this first. I'm going to set it first. Okay. Okay. This looks good. It's not doing any lists. Oh, no. This is not good. I'm fundamentally confusing something. Am I not? Input handler, process input. Process input. I think it's okay. Let me see. So let's actually just go ahead and set it up. All right. So we would have a private. Oh, this is a singleton. Oh, I guess that doesn't really matter. Or does it? No, I don't think it should. Private input processor. Input processor equals new input processor. Okay, I'm going to move this down here. And then I think... So in awake, somewhere in here, we'll just do it at the bottom. Stored input handler equals process input, and then it's actually not an override. Okay, so that's good. Process input, and then this would just be input processor. Process input. Okay. Now, so that looks good. Let's see if we can compile. All right, we are compiling still. So now what we want to do is we want to put some listening in here. So where am I listening for? I guess it would be key code I. I want to see where this is what I want. Right? Something like this. The thing I don't like about this is that this update method's going to get ugly. But it's all right. It's all right. We're professionals. That's why we're professionals. Okay, I am encouraged by the fact that there's no red squigglies, right? That I was able to paste the code in, and that it's fine because it's using singletons, it's using like this get component and parent bullshit and like that. Okay. Okay, so let me see. I don't think I've attached Input Manager to anything yet, so we still have to do that. I am going to comment this out. I don't know why I put that. I should just do this. There is a bug here. I'm just not sure what it is, but there is a bug here. Oh, this is still going to listen to I. So... actually, what I can do is I guess that is pretty nice. If the key code and current state not equal to input state dot inventory dialog, then let's load up the dialog. That should probably be an assert, but we'll just leave it as is. No. I don't think we want to leave it as is. This should be an assert, right? Or at least an exception. If... No. Okay, this should be throw. Yeah, because this is basically saying you should only ever come into here if the inventory dialog is not active. So this is basically saying if you get in here and the inventory dialog is active, throw an exception. Okay. Is this correct? I'm going to look over here. I feel like we don't need this. Right? Because We're calling input processor process input. Have we defined that yet? Yes, process input. We've set that. Okay, so we don't need that because this is getting called in the individual implementations. Okay, are we ready to test this? We're compiling. Well, we're compiling in Visual Studio. Let's see if Unity gives us any grief. Did I lose everybody? Did I even lose you, Matthew? I've lost everybody. Nobody's here. Yake Online abandoned me. Brandon Martinez abandoned me. Razman abandoned me. Everybody, they all leave in the end. They all leave in the end. Okay, we're going to run this and see. Up. But KS is here. KS is here. We can always... As long as KS is here, I'm feeling good. I was just talking about how everybody... Okay, Matthew's still here too. All right. Okay, so we got this. We got that. Okay, here's the moment of truth. I'm going to press I. And nothing happened. All right. And nothing happened. Okie dokie. Oh, you know what I think I neglected to do? I neglected to actually set the fucking state in the input manager. Right? I need to set the state. So I guess I would just do set input state. Yes. Okay. That's what I forgot to do. All right. How's it going, KS? How are things up there in how are things up there in Canada? KS Canada. How could we make KS Canada somehow keep those two things? Because Canada. Can't believe that jerk Not Sure is not here. What a jerk. What a jerk. Need some new music. Wait, is this music or is this... No, that's not the music. I want music. Since Not Sure is here, I'll play his favorite song. Okay. Okay, so the dialogue is still not coming up. Alrighty. All right. I'm going to restart to kind of see where we went wrong, because I've pressed I, so who knows what kind of state it's in now. But let's start this over, and then let's press attach to Unity, and then we'll attach. It's fine. How's your day going? Man, it's been, yesterday was rough. My American football team, just like things were bad there. It's not good, man. It's not good. I was having problems with Unity yesterday, and now why is this breakpoint will not be hit? Unable to find corresponding location. Yeah. Why? I literally said I need to attach Input Manager to something, and then proceeded to not attach Input Manager to anything. So that is the issue. Okay, so this should be good. Now I'm going to be brave, and I'm not even going to bother with the breakpoint. I don't think we need it. I think it's going to work perfectly now. Especially now that KS is here, I'm feeling like everything's looking a little bit better now. Unity is still doing its thing. All right, here we go. Okay, ready? Boom! Perfect. Now, if I press I again, nothing strange happens, which is good. If I press escape, I'm not going to press escape yet, but if I press escape, it should close. Ready? Okay. Oh, that didn't work. All right. All right. All right. So what is the issue here? So are we getting in here at all? Let's attach it. So no, we're not. We're not getting in here. Are we getting in here? We are getting in there, but active input handler is null. Okay. Why? Why is that? We set the state. We didn't register it. We didn't register it. See, that's all the kind of little, or did we register it? No, we didn't. That's all the kind of little shit that I'm not super happy with this pattern, right? Because now every time there's a pull request that has some input, you're going to have to make sure it conforms to this pattern. So I'm not super happy about this, but it is. So what's your solution? Yesterday we were struggling with it, but it's more or less a similar plan. It's basically the same kind of plan that we came up with yesterday, where we have this input processor class, and then we kind of swap out the action when that state is active, essentially. Okay, so I did not register this, so I need to do input. Okay, input manager is a singleton. Yes. Okay, so instance. Is it? Wait, is it? Input manager is not a singleton. Okay, well, it needs to be a singleton. Let me just grab UI manager and just kind of copy the pattern there. Okay, so the AI kind of knew where I was going. Okay, so now we can just do this. I knew someone summoned me. Razman. Oh. It took me a minute. Yes, Razman. Yes, Razman, the singleton man. All right, so we are registering the object. So I do think it's kind of weird that we're passing in this state, and then I'm going to swap that around just because I don't like that. I think the state should be first, and then the action that that state is tied to should be second, especially since that's kind of the key of the map. So let's switch this around. It's not a map, it's a dictionary. I hate that it's called a dictionary. Okay. So now I think we're good. All right. I think it's going to work this time. Now that we've added a singleton per Razman's request, I think it's going to work just fine. Singletons fix everything. Singletons fix all. There is nothing a singleton cannot fix. All right. Here we go. All right, here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We got this. We got this. Look. Well. Look what the cat dragged in. An hour and a half late. Look who decides to show up. Mr. Not Sure. Too good for us, huh? Okay. So if I press I, the inventory window comes up. Now, if I press escape, will it go away? Are we ready? Yes. What do you mean Raz2 Addy 0? This just worked. I think that's at least Addy 1. That's not being very fair. Well, it's what I would expect from a dirty what? Whoa. Just calm down there. Whoa, tranquilo, amigo. Tranquilo. No, no queremos violencia. No. Violencia? No queremos. Tranquilo. Okay. What if you press escape again? That is a good. This guy QEs or QAs. I think it was Matthew who coined that term. Like, this guy QEs or QAs, whatever it is. All right, let's see. I'm pretty sure it does nothing, but that is a valid test case. That is a valid test case. Not sure. Let's see. Before I even check the code in. Okay, so we press. Okay, we got that. Good. And now we press escape. And then let me come down here and clear any errors. And now I'm going to press escape again. No exceptions are being thrown. Let's press. Oh. But pressing I does not bring it back up. So that is a good question as to why not. Why is that? You know why? I know why. It's because we never deactivate the state. It's another fucking requirement that we're going to have to put on the client. Oh my God, I hate this more and more. Basically, there should be a close inventory, close dialogue. Yeah, I'm hating this pattern more and more. I'm hating this pattern. Yeah, this right here, closed dialogue. We need some type of input processor reset state or leave state or clear state or whatever, something like that, right? I'm not sure what. Actually, I guess it could just be set. Oh my God. Didn't I? Oh, no. It would be input manager dot instance dot set input state gameplay. Now, gameplay is a special state which should by default have a member in it. How do I do that? Can I just do it here? I don't think I can. I'm pretty sure I cannot. Can I do it here? Like this? I can't do anything like that. Like input state, gameplay. No? Well, is this? Nah, it's not valid. Matthew was cursing my game today. My name today. Yes. Yeah, because you had that ridiculous monitor. And then you're like a Karen. Everybody needs to support my monitor. No, I'm kidding. Okay. I think we'll just do this. We can actually do this in the constructor. Or is there something like mono behavior shouldn't use a constructor? Like ever. Is it like an ever thing? Or is it just something they say for people that don't know what they're doing? That's like an honest question. I don't know what the answer is. Okay, I guess we can do it in Awake. I hate the fact that we're doing it in Awake, but we can do it in Awake. We'll input handler. No. How do I want to do this? I'm going to do add input state gameplay, new input processor. But I don't think I basically want this to be null. Because gameplay is like a special state that doesn't have an input processor. And then let's see, is there going to be issues when we return, like when I do, okay, set input state. This is going to be an issue, right? No, actually it won't. Current state equals, actually I think it'll be just fine. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Okay, so the inventory UI, it has to reset the state, which I fucking hate, but it is what it is. I'm trying to think if there's a better way. No, there's really not. I kind of want it to be an input processor though. I don't want to, like, it's bad enough that we have this pattern, but I don't want to mix, like, I mean, it would be cleaner to do it in the input manager. I mean, because it's right there. I guess we can do it to test, but I think it should be done in the input processor, just for consistency. So if we go to input processor, no, it doesn't make sense either. Fuck! It does need to be in the input manager. Fuck! Oh, this is such a shitty pattern. I hate this. Oh, man. All right. Well, let's just test it. Now, finish my soda. Switch into water. So you weren't here, KS. I started out trying to do it as interface. It's not going to work as an interface. I wanted to do it as an interface where it was attached, where I could attach, not attach, but you know what I mean. Add as an interface to the classes that used it. But there's problems with that, mostly because of the handlers. You can't do it as an interface. And I didn't want to do it as I didn't want to do it as a class that's derived from mono behavior, because that then creates another dependency. Because if I want if I want a class like inventory UI derived from another class, which is in turn derived from mono behavior, now there's complications there. So yeah, I didn't like that. All right, so let's see if we can actually load the inventory dialog more than once. What do Mexicans put in rice to make it taste so good? They don't wash their hands. No. Salt. Probably lots of salt. Honestly, that's probably actually the answer. Salt. Probably a lot of salt and a lot of butter. You're right about the butter. A lot of, like, lard, actually. Latinos are big on lard. Okay. So we have I. I can't win. Okay, I think it's probably having an issue because the handler's null. That's easy enough to fix. New handler. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we have both of these. All right, so let's try it now. I hate this pattern. I am not a fan of this pattern. At all. Maybe it would be better if we can put... I would feel better because, okay, well, there's lots of things I don't like about it. But my newest thing I don't like about it is that it depends on us doing stuff with this input processor class. And then now we have another requirement to do something on the input manager when we're done. I don't like that. Maybe it wouldn't be that bad if... I don't know. Oh, but that might be one of those things I'll have to think on for a little bit. That one of those things that just kind of come to you after a little while. Too bad I don't remember. No, Razman is he's a, hey, wait, KS is also Canadian. Wait, Razman is an immigrant in Canada. KS is an immigrant in Canada. Whoa, wait, have you ever seen them in the same room at the same time? No, I don't think. I haven't. Because one interface in many states it's awkward to find an abstract base class and some. No, we're not doing it. I mean, we're not doing an abstract. The abstract base class. The abstract. Well, what is inheriting the abstract base class? Like the inventory. Like if you're talking about like the classes that are using the input inherit from that abstract base class, that runs into the issue I already described, where you have to have mono behavior in there somewhere. Okay, so let's try this. Escape. Okay, This looks good. And then escape, 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 escape. I. Escape. I. Escape, escape, escape. Okay. So this looks pretty okay. That's all I'm going to call it. It's pretty okay. Let's check it in. We got rid of the fill.prefab, Matthew's hard work. I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm nuking this shit. I'm nuking this. I guess we can actually delete that code. Player interactor. The player interactor class. Okay. So let me check that in, and then we can explore explore some ways to improve it before we start implementing it in other classes. So let's see what we have. We have these, and then we got these over here, and then we got these, and then we did that, and then we have this too, and then we did this, and then we did that. Okay, perfect. Initial implementation of input processor and input manager classes. Let me capitalize that M, otherwise this PR will get rejected. And good. All right. So we have that code at least as our baseline. All right. Ways. So KS, it sounds like what you're saying is have some type of abstract base class for this input processor, and then you can attach it to, for example, you can attach it to this inventory UI class, which is a class that is handling an input. And the reason that does not work is because, so you would have to basically have this, right? Like the AI kind of filled it in for me. You would basically have to have input processor derived from mono behavior. And you say, okay, well, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is now I have to change. Now I have to do this, right? I would have to do this. Okay. But now what that means is that any class that is handling input absolutely has to derive from input processor. And now it screws things up if I want to have inventory UI, like if I have some other class that I need inventory UI to inherit from. So now suddenly input processor has to be passed around, and like it's just bad news. Ideally, what I would do is have input processor as an interface, so I could do something like input processor, right? That's what we started off at first, and it's not going to work. I mean, there might be some way to do it, but couldn't think of it. Use either an interface or an abstract base class. Define one parent type and 3 concrete classes to each handle the same inputs differently. So it sounds like you are saying you could have some, I don't know, inventory UI input, and then you would just have a member variable inside inventory UI that's of inventory UI input. And then I think that's what I think that's the area. I don't know if that's exactly what you're saying, but that's kind of sounds like where you're headed. I think it's not much different than what we already kind of have. At least the way we have, like, we can swap things in and out. And also, I'm not sure adding more classes and now suddenly having classes for each class that wants to have input. Like, I'm not sure that makes, I think that just kind of confuses things even more. Okay. Oh, excuse me. God, I'm a little piggy boy. So I'm not crazy about this. I am not crazy about this. I mean, we are doing this. I'm trying to think, maybe we can kind of keep everything in input manager instance. Yeah, I think we can actually. Right? Like this here, input. This actually just needs to register an action. And then whatever the default action is would basically be here. So let's see. So like I had, like current handler, I didn't even use it, but this is kind of going back to the pattern that I kind of started to do, right? Current handler process input. No, actually, I think it would just be, let's see. Just calm down for a minute, okay? Just calm down. Just stop. I think maybe we can get rid of input processor altogether and just do this completely with input manager. So like if input manager did this, like what does that look like exactly? Would it just be this process input? And so that's an action. Yeah, cannot convert from method group to input processor, right? So, okay, what if we change register? I just want to see something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do register input handler, and I'm going to copy that. This is an ancient programmer technique. I'm going to rename it to processor 2, input register. You keep the field parent type, swap the child instances to reflect the current state, call the method same signature, runtime dispatch picks the right behavior. It's fancy, but I'm not following you at all. All right. So let me see. Register 2. Why does that not work? Oh, wait. I need to change it. Okay, so I want to try changing. Let me comment this out. It sounds like I think what you're kind of explaining is kind of maybe the path I'm going down. So maybe once again we're talking about the same thing to some extent. Let me see. Does that get rid of the red squiggly over here? No. Huh. Oh, it does. Okay. So now. So what I'm thinking here, yeah, input handlers to action, right? And then, yeah, the AI feels me. Okay, input equals handler. Okay. And then we're just calling current handler process input. That looks better. I don't even think we necessarily need this anymore. So we don't need input processor anymore. Now, yeah, maybe this is okay. Yeah, Yeah, we're just using input manager as the dispatcher. Register handler 2. Process input. That's the function that's going to get called when that is the current handler. But then we need to set. Okay. I have properly messed things up in an attempt to improve things, but that is often how it goes. You have to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs. Let's get rid of this nonsense here. But for the time being, I am going to keep my naming convention, and I'm going to call this current handler 2 just for sake of conversation and sake of not confusing things for the time being. Okay, current handler 2. Input handlers. Okay, so this, I'm going to comment out all the non-to functions. So literally, I will just copy this, and this will just be set input state to. Now, what does this look like? This is going to look for that here. I don't know that we even need to do this. Current state, new state, 2. Current handler 2 equals the new handler. And literally that's it, right? Just that. Do we still need the gameplay? I think we still need the gameplay state. Set input state 2. Current handlers 2. And that's going to be invoke. Okay. Okay. And then in inventory UI at the end, I need to call set input state 2. Again, I'm just naming everything 2 so that just to kind of, just temporarily, just to see if this idea works. This is a much better pattern if it works. It's better because everything's contained inside of Input Manager. So that's, I guess that's fine. That's better. That's actually better. Okay. But let's see if it works. And hopefully Not Sure is still here and he can tell me what things to press in order to break it. And it is also fitting that, like, literally about 10 minutes before Not Sure got here, I literally said, since Not Sure is not here, I'm going to play his favorite background music. So you're welcome, Not Sure. You're welcome. Okay, here we go. Pressing I. Ready? I like that. I like the sound of that. I'm going to press escape. I like that. I'm going to press I again. I like that. I'm going to press escape. Okay. Whew. I think we're good. Matthew, observation time is over. Addie and I have been doing the heavy lifting in the ideation. Please get in the loop, align and plan, and start delivering code for Mr. Addie. Well, in fairness, Matthew is the PM on this project. So, all right. I am not going to check this code in. I am going to stage it. And then now I will go back and I will delete everything this is sweet deleting of code. Sweet code deletion. Oh, this is so tasty code deletion. All right. Come over here, and then we're gonna go over here. Oh, this is delicious. Okay. And here's the best part of the code deletion. I'm going to go here. Well, if Unity would fucking load. Come on. I'm going to go over here if Unity would let me. Come on. All right. We're waiting. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. So, this is the best part. I can do this. Delete and delete. Oh, that was pretty. Oh, that was pretty. Oh, that was pretty tasty. Come on. We come back over here. That should be gone. That shit should be gone. All right. Before I rename everything again, I am going to test. I guess there's more code I can delete. Wait, was I doing? Okay, let me take. Okay, perfect. Okay, can we compile? Yes, we are compiling, and let's. Test. Oh my God. What are listeners for? What listeners? What listeners are you talking about? I mean, I like listeners because it makes programming more fun when more people are listening to me, and therefore it's a more interactive experience. But I don't think those are the listeners you're talking about, KS. All right, so let's see. See if this works. In general. You got to give me a pattern. I mean, listeners are a big part of event-driven programming. All right, so let's see. Perfect. All right, so are you going to give that class? Oh, fuck. I forgot completely about that. Oh, shit, the fast inverse square root. That means I would basically just have tomorrow to prepare for it. Oh, God, I need more time than that. Why didn't you remind me about this before? Oh. Okay, let me go back. I completely forgot all about that. Listener interface. What does it do? But I mean, that's too generic of a question, right? Like, it depends. There needs to be more context before you can really answer that. I mean, I could think of like a listener interface could be a good abstraction for a listener of like types of, like, I'm trying to think of an example. I guess like remote connections could be one. Like if you had a TCP connection or a UDP connection or ICMP connection, so different types of network connections, and you can have an interface that basically abstracts out the events, like on receive data would probably be one, on connection open, on connection closed, although that doesn't really make sense for UDP, but whatever. So that so that would be one way I could see using an interface, a listener interface. Okay. Input handlers, we'll rename those. Current handler, we'll rename this. We're just going to remove the twos. Like, what does it listen? What does it listen on my keyboard? What does what listen on your keyboard? So again, that's very event. Well, so keyboards are, so that when you start talking about keyboards, you start talking about things called IRQs. Those are basically operating system level listeners. And then those are operating, and then that hooks into the operating system. So then you have operating system level events. And you could kind of think of like the thing that's kind of listening for events on the keyboard as your listener. It's just listening for like key down, key up kind of stuff. Okay. Let me see. I remember way back in the day. So back when I was doing like DOS programming, and I wanted to, so with DOS programs, like you just write a run-of-the-mill Hello World program, but let's say it's a little more complicated. Like, let's say you're just like, basically what I'm getting at is, even if you were doing something that's kind of like pretty like a TUI, a text, a GUI, a text GUI interface, a text graphical user interface, even if you did something like that, if you still hit Control C, it would break out of the program. And so in order to block Control C, is this right? This doesn't feel right. In order to block, I want to say you had to like put your own handler in for the IRQ9, but now that doesn't sound right. Now I'm wondering if it was. So here's a little interesting thing that I remember telling my friend Gabe about a long time ago. The caps locks, the light on the caps locks. One way you can tell if your operating system is really, really locked up is by hitting the caps locks key. And I remember my friend Gabe saying, "Oh, that just tells you if the power is on." Like, because the computer was like locked up, and I was like, "Well, hit the caps locks," and he's like, "Well, that just tells you if the keyboard's getting power." And I was like, "No, it's not, because when you press the caps locks, what happens is you press the caps locks. That sends a message to the operating system. The operating system says, 'Oh, he pressed the caps locks. Let me send an event back out that says turn the light on.'" So it's actually an operating system thing. And so you could, and then it's the same with num locks for keyboards. I think num locks used to have a light too. And so you could have a program that would sit there and would blink the caps locks. So anyway, I thought that was cool. All right. Did I get rid of all the twos? I think I got rid of all the twos. I did. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think this is much prettier. I think I'm still not super happy with this pattern, but I think it's pretty. I think it's nice. All right. Let's actually run it first. Come on. Oh, where'd the music go? All right. Oh, come on. An event is something that happens. A user clicking a button, while a listener is a piece of code that waits for a specific event to occur and then triggers a response. Is this? I mean, there's no like committee that decides these definitions. Like, they're all colloquial. So I could see that. I mean, like that definition makes sense to me, but are you gonna be asked that on the certification? Maybe, I guess. I don't know. By the way, I need a code review when you have time. It's just 200 line script of C#, no AI used, I guess, for your next stream, if you don't mind. Well, I mean, if it's somewhere, send the link. I can probably look at it. This is actually turning out well, so we can look at it tonight if you want. All right, let me see. Okay, so this is all working very nicely. So we'll go ahead and check this in. Okay. Deleting code. Alrighty, so you guys knew I was going to do this. You knew I was going to do this. You knew I was going to do it. I'm going to get like 6 emails after the stream being like, your stream has been blocked in these regions for copyright violations. This is not a strike on your channel, but you can't monetize this video. Well, joke's on you, YouTube. My channel's not monetized. Not yet. All right, so I want to try and find another candidate for... Let's look at the codecs. Maybe the codecs would be a good candidate. Fucking love this song. Where is the keyboard? Okay, so I guess actually it would be key code M. Let's look at key code M. All right, so if we go here. Toggle codecs overlay. Okay, so it's very similar to what we just had for the inventory. We need a more active chat. Oh, well. Are you saying that we're not? We have like a full house tonight. We've got Razman, KS, we've got Matthew, not sure. Maybe Brandon's still there. I don't know. I know Lisa left a while ago. Yake Online probably left a while ago. We have a full house tonight. What are you talking about, KS? You're just spoiled. Okay, how do we want to do? I'm distracted by the song, so I'm not going to get anything done until the song's over because I fucking love this song. Not sure he's eating an entire chicken. Is it roasted, grilled, fried? Like what is it? Like how is it cooked? Is it raw? Did you find a chicken? Did you go to like a? Wait, yes, sir. Did you go to like a farm and like kidnap a chicken and just you've started eating it? Poor thing's probably still alive and there's just like chicken blood all over the place. How can you not like this song? It is so fucking catchy. Oh, Peruvian chicken's good. Peruvian chicken is good. That link that you sent, Raz, it does not. Let me see. Oh, okay. Let me see. You did say .cs. Main menu. Okay, let's look at the. Oh, wait, what the hell? Yeah, Raz, I don't see it at all. I mean, like, I'm not sure. I have sent the link over Discord. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's... I mean, you can see. Oh, it's not public. Just a moment. All right. You can put it on, like, Pastebin or something. All right, let me put some music back on because I do like having some music going. This is an oldie but a goodie. We'll stick with this. All right. So now let's attack the codex first next. So we will have the input get key down. Actually, I'm just going to paste this over, right? I can just do this. Obviously there's going to have to be some more tweaking that needs to be done. We got this. So let's see, because fuck, this is where it starts getting messy. There has to be a better way to do this, right? Because now we want to be like, okay, well, if the input state is not in the inventory dialog well, I guess you could do this. Actually, that's probably valid. And actually, this is probably valid up here too. Thank you, Mr. AI. Actually, that does make sense. We only want to enter the inventory dialog from gameplay. We only want to enter the codex from gameplay. Okay, I think that makes sense. What in the world does F do? Does it equip? Oh, wait, it adds it to the... Oh, it picks it up directly to your inventory. Okay, I should, like, actually document these things. All right, so let me see. All right. Okay, so now... Okay, so this would be the codex overlay controller, which is this. Now there's no update. Codex overlay controller, that's just that. The codex overlay canvas. Is there no code for this? Yeah, that's just that. Game object. How in the world is this implemented? Open code. Okay, open codex, inventory dialog. Okay, wait, what? I'm so confused. It's all done in player interactor. Yeah, it's all done in player interactor. Okay. All right. So that's actually that simplifies things quite a bit, actually. If this is all done in player interactor, then we should be able to do it all in input manager now. Let's see. Let's just give it a shot. Paste bin. All right. I'm looking at it. Let me copy. Okay, let me see. Is there no way to just copy the entire document in one button click? All right, let's just... Okay. So what do we have here? We have a main menu of some type. Okay. My text box. This is test string, button display, a bunch of labels and stuff. Play label, play. Okay. So is this... Yeah, this obviously is Unity. Okay. UI elements. Start. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize. Is that from a UI document? Yes, it is. Foiled to you, Matthew. The UI document shall prevail. The UI document is slowly taking over the world. All right, so let's see. Test label equals root. What in the world is that? I am intrigued. I am intrigued. UI document has a template function named Q. What in the world does that do? Is a shortcut for finding a single visual element within the UI hierarchy managed by that UI document. It is part of a uQuery system, which is inspired by jQuery and Link. I am liking this UI document. So I was so the other day on Saturday, I was like, I want to implement a pause button for my game because I want you to be able to press escape and the game is paused, and then you basically just see like main menu, settings, or exit, right? This very basic, at least starting out basic. And so I asked AI, since Matthew was like not around or something. So I asked AI, and actually Matthew, like I confirmed with Matthew. My first thought was like, okay, this will be like another canvas with vertical layout. With a vertical layout group with some buttons, should be pretty easy. And AI suggested using a UI document. And so out of curiosity, I decided to go with the UI document, and I liked it. I used a UI document and I liked it. I'm reminded of that Katy Perry song. So, and I know that probably makes Matthew cringe while he's eating his beans and toast, but I kind of liked it. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So you're just kind of grabbing a bunch of stuff and setting it. Is there not a prettier way to do this in the UI document? Like, can't you do this? Like, can't you set the text and things like that in like the text for buttons? Like, I guess my main question is, why are you doing it in code? UI document, it's very visual. It's a visual drawing tool, essentially. Like you can draw your UI. So my first question is, why are you doing it in code? I mean, if you're doing it just to learn, that is a valid answer. I'm just curious. Not sure says YAML. Yeah, yes, not sure. We know you love YAML. Okay, so you register the callback. I'm liking this because I'm not familiar with UI documents, so this is actually a bit of a learning experience. Thank you, Razman, and I'm not being cheeky or anything. Like I legitimately mean that. This is I am liking this UI document stuff. Okay, so obviously you're just registering callbacks, toggle in class list. So you're doing some. So again, this just looks like you're doing, I'm guessing like this is you're doing some like visual manipulation. Like you're just like some like visual stuff like changing on the screen. Start settings menu closed. I mean, that looks fine. I think the only, I'm not an expert, all right? So I don't know how much feedback I can really offer, but I would say a lot of this I would do using the tool. I don't think you need to, as a matter of fact, I know you don't, as a matter of fact, I know you can set the text of a button in the UI document tool. You don't have to do it in C# code. So unless you're doing this for some, just like your own education, then that's one thing. But if you're doing this like in a bigger project, I would use the tool. What is XAML? XAML is like Microsoft's UI XML type thing, like language thing, and basically just let you. It's basically like yet another fucking markup language to define UI elements. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I would use the tool. I would instead of doing it in code. Okay, so let's see. On button clicked. So kind of a nitpick. I hate variable names like Xamarin. Yeah, Xamarin. I need to get into UI doc, but I don't like having to grab visual elements in a string query. I kind of love it. I don't like variable names like named M. I remember, like, one of the things I try to always remember is that code is written once, but it is read often. So you want to make your code readable. Variable names like a variable name of M or a variable, like I think X is probably okay here since it's just used in this kind of like this like Lambda query type thing. But in general, I would stray away from having like one letter variable names unless it's like things in like a for loop would be an example where it's okay. But even here, I wouldn't do it. All right, so what is this? Dot tween? Is that something you created, or is that like a Unity thing? Is that really a Unity thing? What a name. I got to look at this. Oh, but this is... Okay, wait, no. It is. Tween is a fast, efficient, fully typed, safe, object-oriented animation engine for Unity, optimized for C# users. Interesting. That's pretty cool. All right. On settings button clicked. So you... Okay. I would say... Just like... From having done UI programming, I would say if your purpose with buttons display label, if the purpose of setting it to string empty is to hide it, I would hide it instead of setting the text to empty. I'm sure there's probably like a visible, or I'm sure there is like some easy Boolean you can flip to determine its visibility. If not, then what you have is probably fine. But if the purpose is to hide it, I would stick with the code that hides it instead of just setting the text to null. Settings container display flex toggle in class. So you're doing some stuff. Animate close button. When exit button clicked. So it looks like you're doing some animation and then you're just quitting. Yeah. Animation title label, toggle in class. So you're doing a lot of like CS, like a lot of CSS type manipulation in code, which feels awkward. But maybe that's how you do it in UI document. I don't know. Yeah, it feels awkward. That's all I really have to say about that. I might be wrong. It might be. I mean, again, this is not my background. So let's see. You're setting some lambda here. Toggle title label. That's fine. That's fine. Animate close button, toggle class and list. And you're just doing some animation again. It's a web developed focused UI system. Yes, it is. But even in things like TypeScript, there's other ways than like manually setting the style, like the CSS style of an object. Is that true? I think it's true. It feels it feels brittle when you do it like that. But yeah, okay. Anyway, play element, toggle in class list. Yeah, settings element. Yeah. Yeah, it does look like CSS, absolutely. Unsetting sheet UP transition event. I hate this about this. This is one of the things I do not like about C#. In C++, you see how this EVT variable is not used? In C++, you can do that. You just don't name it. You just don't name it. Even if you have a variable that comes after it, you can do this, right? But in C#, you have to give it a name. You have to give it a name. Okay, setting style sheet, class list can, if not, sheet. So is this a way of determining if that sheet is visible? You're seeing if that sheet has this property? Could you just simply use this here? Could you just check that instead? That, again, like all this CSS type stuff in the code, it feels weird. Maybe it's okay, but it feels weird. Even for a web type language, having raw CSS class names kind of sounds, it feels, I don't know. I'm not a web developer, but it still feels weird. But in this instance, couldn't you just do something like, like that, right? On destroy, unregister callback on. I mean, this is nice of you. This is nice. Good practice to unregister callbacks, I guess. I mean, if on destroy, I guess it is good practice. So on destroy could be called when the object is destroyed. In which case, yeah, you probably want to unregister your callbacks. But if it's the application exit, who cares, kind of? Like, I mean, I guess you're being a nice guy, but yeah, no, I'm not sure I have much to offer. Other than, I mean, like, you know, like, I mean, the name variable stuff I mentioned, and use the features of UI documents, right? Like the features are there. Use them. I remember when, like, I got during my first job, I didn't have a car. And so I was like commuting like an hour and a half, 2 hours to work at like public transportation. And Not Sure knows this. This was going from Rockville, Maryland out to like Fairfax, right? And in the Washington, D.C. area, that we do have a metro system. And the metro system is very good if you live outside of Washington, D.C. and you want to commute into D.C. Then the metro system is good. But if you live outside of Washington, D.C. and you want to commute to outside of Washington, D.C., it sucks because you have to go into D.C. and then out of D.C. and it can take forever. So I was commuting, and it was like my first programming job. And so I'm not going to give it up, right? Because it was like the first good job that I really had, and it sucked. And so I remember I asked my dad if I could borrow some money to buy a car, and he ended up lending me the money. He actually ended up giving me the money, but he made me sign a document saying I'd pay him back. And then I started giving him checks, and he never cashed them. And I eventually told him, I said, if you don't cash any of those checks, I said, I'm not giving you another check until you cash the checks I've given you. And he never cashed them. So, but anyway, the purpose of this, so I had this car, and it wasn't anything great, but it was a decent little car. This was in like 1999, 2000, and it was like a 1993 Chevy Cavalier. Nothing fancy. Got the job done. I liked it. It was new enough. It was cool. It was a nice little car. And but for what I was so paranoid about cars, and I was so just like I was so scared of the car breaking down and just not working and not being able to use it, that in the summer I remember suffering. Instead of turning on the AC, I was like, I don't want to turn it, because in my mind I was like, if I use the AC, this is just going to put more wear and tear on the car. So I'll save myself some wear and tear by not using the AC. And I suffered. And I remember going to and I was talking to, and I was living right near where my dad's office was. And so I saw him all the time back then. And I remember talking to him one day, and I mentioned that to him. I was like, yeah, I'm not even using the AC because I'm scared of putting wear and tear on the car. And he's like, fucking use the AC. Don't, like, it's there. It's there for you to use. Use it. It's fine. And I started using the AC. So the point of that story, and you probably already figured it out, is that's what this kind of reminds me of. The features of the UI document are there. They're there to allow you to label the buttons and to label the label. I mean, to give the labels text values and the buttons text values. So use the language, or use the tools. You use the tools you're given. And yeah, otherwise I think this looks fine. This looks good. I would be really curious to see the final product. I would be super curious to see that. I'd be really curious about these animations and see like what they look like. That sounds pretty cool. But yeah, no, it doesn't look bad. Name your variables. Give your variables meaningful names. See if this actually is best practice in UI document. It might be, but see, I would do some research to see if that's best practice or if there's a better pattern to follow. But yeah, looks good. All right. So, all right. So I did not test the codecs. Let's test the codecs. You can see the video on Discord, and it will give you a better view of what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, all right. Let me, is there anything, did you just paste that video into, I guess it's okay to drag the Discord over on. Okay, let's look at this. That's pretty cool. I like that. And you did that, like, actually, that's really, you know, goddamn Matthew not telling me about you. This is Matthew's fault. This is all Matthew's fault. So all of that was done. Where did the code go? Did I close it? I closed it. No, that looks really cool. I wanted to look at the code again. So yeah, you have those buttons that like pop out. So delayed call, set loops, toggle. Okay, so a lot of it's done just by, okay, it makes a little more sense now. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Jiggle physics makes everything better. Yes, it does, sir. Yes, it does. Yes, indeed. Okay, we still haven't tested the codex. Enough of Razman's awesome code. That actually reminds me of, like, for whatever reason I see that and I think of like a skater game. Like, I mean, I don't mean that as like an insult or anything. It's just kind of like where my mind goes. It's like a skater game. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting little tidbit here. Now, why is that happening? And I can't escape from this anymore. Okay, so I'm stuck in this loop where I cannot get out of the codex. Okay, I do think I recall seeing some reference to the inventory dialogue, so I'm not sure. Okay, maybe I made that up. That might be in the codex overlay controller. I thought I saw the inventory. There probably shouldn't be any yeah, this. Inventory UI instance show inventory. I don't think this should be here. I'm not sure why that's there. I'm thinking of some type of off-road game. Yeah. Hey, Razman, I know another project that needs some like UI development. You know, if you're interested, it's an open source game that this guy's been working on since March or so. It's his first Unity project, so it's a big mess. He's still pretty. He's still like, he doesn't know what he's doing, but he kind of pretends like he knows what he's doing. But you know, maybe you could, or like PUBG. PUBG for a long time was the most popular game in Bolivia, and I think it's an MMORPG. Is it an MMORPG? I have no idea what PUBG is. Oh, for fuck's sakes, I don't know. Let's go to, oh my God. I don't want AI mode for every fucking thing. Is it a shooter like Call of Duty? Nice. I got the job. What type of game is PUBG? I mean, it looks kind of just like, it looks like a first-person shooter, like Modern Warfare, kind of Call of Duty, kind of. Is it just it's like Fortnite? Okay. Okay, let's see. Fortnite. I'm not a gamer, dude. Like I mean, I've heard of Fortnite. I have no idea what it is. And it would be quicker for me to tell you what games I am familiar with. I am familiar with Unreal Tournament 2004. I am familiar with Star Wars Galaxies. I am familiar with whatever Star Wars game came out in 2012. Whatever online MMORPG Star Wars game came out in 2012. I am familiar with City Skylines, and I think that's about it. Oh, and this other game that's written by this indie developer. I'm pretty sure Polyamorous Skies. I'm pretty sure it put a virus on my computer, but I mean, what? No, I'm kidding. Let me see. Steam. Check Dying Light 2. Steam is asking me to sign in. I'm going to sign in over here. I want to show you I want to show you the games I have on Steam. What was that, KS? It was Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2, no commentary. We need to get Matthew. We need to make Matthew a millionaire so he can get this cat girl. Oh, the girl at his work. Ah, yeah. I want to see pictures of this girl. I mean, because like the way he describes her, she sounds like the type of girl I would have loved in my younger days, in my single days too. Like, you know, the like alternative kind of like funky hair colors but like nowadays the funky hair colors are very synonymous with like annoying feminist type of person, but you know, but the green hair color with the septum. Like, does she have a nose ring, Matthew? Does she have a nose ring? Let me see. Is this Spider-Man? No, this looks pretty cool. Our game will be better. Our game's gonna be our game's gonna look nicer than that. Okay, PUBG Battlegrounds, formerly known as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, is a free-to-play multiplayer online battle royale shooter game. In this game, up to 100 players parachute onto a large map, scavenge for weapons and supplies. Okay, so it's a shooter game. All right. She does have a nose ring. I knew it. Well, is she single? All right. So you probably don't know because you work with her. So you're not obviously going to be like, hey, are you single? I'm trying to think of ways that you could tell if she's single without actually coming up and asking. That's a good one. Because the thing is like attractive women, like especially young, pretty women, I've always thought that I've always kind of, they're like parking spaces at the mall during Christmas, right? Like they're all, none of them are available. They're all taken. And then as soon as one becomes available, there's already like 2 cars waiting for that parking space. And if you're not in the right place at the right moment, you're going to miss the opportunity. And the only thing so your option is to just keep driving around the parking lot looking for an open space, or to just kind of stalk a certain space. And you don't want to do that. So, yeah. My game is going to be a mod of GTA Vice City. Ugh. All right. So, wait, we did find a bug. Oh, but I did think I did something that might have fixed it. So I wanted to look at my library. I think I've shown this before. So Poly Skies, which is Matthew's beautiful looking game. I mean, it is beautiful game. Universe Sandbox, which I think is still a cool game. City Skylines, which I haven't played in a while, but I do like that. Disturbed, which is just a shitty horror game. Prison Architect, I haven't played that in a long time, but I was really into Prison Architect for a while. Of course, my love, Unreal Tournament 2004. Amazing game. Love that game. Is it still even possible to play it? Like, I know they shut down the servers. Oh, no, it wants me to... Okay, yeah. No. All right. Papers, Please, which I thought was such a... You know, Papers, Please is another one of those games where it is such a simple concept. Okay, Unreal Tournament 2004 is loading up on the other screen. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to actually... Can I abort it? Stop. Yes, confirm. No. Yeah, okay. You have Papers, Please. I was just looking at that. It's another one of those things where it's like such a simple premise and it fucking went viral. And I'm just like, God damn it, that's what I need. So it's like, but so you take something popular and put a twist on it, like Papers, Please meets Unreal Tournament 2004. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that game looks like, but I kind of want to play it. Oh, Jesus. All right. Okay, let me see if I fix that bug. Okay, M to close. Okay, M to close. I. Escape to close. We're going to fix that in a minute. What if I press M and then I? Okay, did nothing. Press M to close. Ooh, okay. There's some bugs. There's some buggy bugs here. All right. There's some buggy bugs here. I know what the issue is. Okay. The issue is that there's no way to close it. Because once we get out of this state, we're never going to go into it again. And this is where, this is why I hate the pattern, right? So now we need to do something like this, and we need to come down. Okay, so if it's, I mean, I guess we could just do if key down M in here. I kind of hate that, but that probably will, no, that's not going to work because then we can't do M and, this is such an awful pattern. Oh God. There's gotta be a better solution to this. Like, how do big games do it? Like, I know, Matthew, I know you said in Poly Skies, you just used kind of a bunch of ifs and stuff over here and over there. But let's see. Let me look at something. Name a few big title games that are written in Unity. Let's see. I got to stand up and walk around for a minute. I'll be right back. Whoop, not that button. This button. Yeah. All right, fellas. I'm back, fellas. Coming back. I'm back in the room. Everybody behave. Get back to your seats. Get back to your seats. All right. We're back. A few big titles. So Genshin Impact. I've heard of that. Fall Guys. Now, City Skylines is in Unity? Wow. Okay. Pokemon Go. Hearthstone, Cuphead, Escape from Tarkov. What is Escape from Tarkov? I've never heard of that. Munasha. I think we've seen you in here before. Munasha says, what is he trying to do? I ask myself that question every day. All right, let me see. I'm gonna come over here. I want to look. Just the name Escape from Tarkov sounds familiar. It sounds interesting. Escape from Tarkov is huge. It's a shooter. And this is in Unity? Are we sure about this? Do they just make their own game engine? They being who? I mean, so yes. So like Notchor said, a lot of AAA games use Unreal. There are like GTA, they use their own game engine. They have their own game engine. But I can understand why GTA would use their own game engine because their map is fucking massive. Especially the new map that's supposed to come out in GTA 6 is like it's really huge. Unity and Unreal are top in most used engines, yeah. I mean, this looks nice. Is this really written in Unity? No way. No way. That looks too nice to be written in Unity. Let me see. What is Escape from Tarkov written in? In which programming language is the server? I don't care about the server. Just the okay. Escape. Well, the AI says. Well, okay. So this is Google's AI saying that it's developed using the Unity engine, and the game logic is likely written in C Sharp, which makes sense. What about this? Oh, come on. Well, the server emulator is written in C Sharp. That's great. You can make anything in Unity. It has amazing graphical fidelity. The issue is crappy developers. Valve has a game. Like, there's tons of game engines. I wrote a game engine. VS built in fancy, poorly run graphics in Unreal Engine. Versus built in. Okay, I see what you're saying. Huh. No, I'm super curious about. I mean, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try using the AI mode because every fucking website out there is pushing AI. Like, oh, use our AI feature. Welcome. Here, meet Marge, your new AI assistant for your banking application. Like, well, dude, I just want to check my fucking balance. I don't need a goddamn AI. Like, oh my god. All right. But apparently there's like an AI feature on YouTube now. Okay, so you can just ask it for any video. Show me videos of pretty games written using the Unity game engine. All right, let's just try that. Okay. Brilliant, breathtaking games written in Unity. That looks nice. Why can't we make a game like that? All right, that's fine. That looks nice too. That looks beautiful. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. GTFO. Ferocious. All right. So, yeah, not sure. It says we need an army of artists. Probably. Unity gives you so much control over graphics. People are lazy to utilize it. It's a shame, really. Maybe. Well, I think the thing is that I think Unity probably attracts a lot of noobs, especially noob programmers, because C# is not as intimidating sounding as C++, which of course is what something like Unreal Engine. So that I think that might be part of the issue also, is just Unity is an easier barrier to entry as opposed to Unreal. What hole you came from thinking Unity is shitty? I never said Unity was shitty. I mean, just because it's crappy doesn't mean it's shitty. I'm kidding. Okay, so we have a bug here to fix, and I think we'll probably dive deeper into it on Wednesday. Do we really want to do the fast inverse square root thing? Do we really want to do that? Because if so, we can do it next week. I need to not forget about it. Let me. I'll do a poll since there seems to be a few people in the chat room tonight. I'll do a poll. All right. So let's see. Start a poll. Do we want to do a deep dive into the fast inverse square? I'm just going to do square root algo. Yes. No. All right, let's see what everybody thinks. Square root on the weekend. It's a square root weekend. Yeah, I'm still not sold on this input manager thing because now this just, and like, this is a pattern that like, I mean, I guess it's fine. I guess it's actually not that bad. And actually we can kind of adapt that, right? Like we can kind of move this into, no. Ugh. There's more. The problem is that there's so many use cases for it. How does the Tarkov game do it? What's their input management look like? I'm sure the Tarkov game has like an inventory and a map and settings and a million other different things. So I would, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna. What's the game called? It's called something Tarkov. What the fuck was it called? Escape from Tarkov. Let's see. Escape from Tarkov source code. Is it out there? Let's see if we can find it. Oh wait, look, it's on GitHub. It's open source. Sweet. Oh Jesus, the game's still running. I always forget about that. And Not Sure still hasn't fixed the sound. I can't see the chat messages. Okay. Input management is a mountain of money. Not Sure says yes. Yes, we want to do the fast inverse square root, but not on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Yeah. Square root on the weekend. I'll bring my classmates. Oh, God. Tarkov was made before HDRP was a thing, and it still looks beautiful. Okay. Unity input management strategies. Unity's input system offers various strategies for input management moving beyond legacy input manager. The recommended approach for modern Unity projects involves using the input system package, input action asset. What is it? Okay, so this is just like having, like, instead of using keys, instead of detecting that they've pressed J or space, you use jump, and that way it's easier to do mapping. That I get that. That's not so much what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, yeah, context-based input handling. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Implement logic to switch between different input modes or disable certain actions based on the game state, disabling player movement when a menu is open. This can be achieved through disabling, enabling action maps, activate or deactivate entire action maps based on the current game state, which is essentially what we're doing. State machine, which is what we're doing. Like, I mean, so this offers me nothing. This has offered me literally nothing. I have no idea what the best was. I guess best way to manage user input in a game like First Emblem, for example, using arrows to move the cursor around. Okay. I recommend reading up on input management programming pattern systems. There are tons of resources, but the main takeaway at a basic level is that you should be building controllers that handle relevant inputs and then okay. They're talking about, like, that's a question about, well, which key actually fires the gun and which arrow, like that's what that is. That's different. All right. Well, we need to get into animations and state management. So state management, we've gotten into state management quite a bit already. Animations, yes, we do need to get into animations. Unity has a built-in... Okay, so you're talking about the state machine of Unity. Or for animations, I mean. State machines for animations. But you can do it with just a regular state machine anyway. But I did just go on about Razman, about how he needs to use the tools that are given to him. So, you know, I should probably practice what I preach. Do as I say, not as I do. All right? Remember that. Do as I say, not as I do. What's the poll look like? I'm going to vote in secret. I didn't register my vote. That's all right. All right. Well, 3 of you voted. 2 of you voted yes. 1 of you voted no. I mean, I'm kind of with the no person. We need to turn on the AC. I hate you. I hate you, not sure. I hate you. All right. I mean, literally, the second dialogue where we attempted to use this pattern, it broke down. I'm not saying we abandon it, because I don't think what we have currently is going to work much longer, right? Because like what we have currently is now you're going to suddenly have like a Boolean representing every state, essentially. Like, are you in this dialogue or is this dialogue shown? Because if neither dialogue shown, now you can show this other dialogue. And like, it's you need some kind of central management of all of that. And that's kind of like what we're building, but I'm not thrilled with it. I'm not. I don't like it. I have a feeling also that input management is one of those things that kind of comes with experience. Just having built multiple large games. I'm not saying I have, I'm just saying if you have, then you probably have more experience and more knowledge of this, which is where I'm leaning towards Matthew on this. I'm not getting any help from him. No. Yep. Nope. Yeah. Nope. What a crappy day yesterday was. Today was a little bit better, but now this has just got me feeling all down again, just like I was last night, like when I went to bed, watching that Redskins game and then just waking up to see that the quarterback had basically broken his arm. He didn't break his arm. He dislocated his elbow, but still, we got to look at that again. In case anybody who's here now didn't see it earlier, when I was going on my rant about the Washington Commanders. Let's look it up. Let's look at that injury one more time. I don't think you were here, not sure. Jaden Daniels injury. We gotta see this. All right, we're ready. Ah! Oh! It still gives you the heebie-jeebies. Oh! An elbow does not bend like that. That's not what an elbow does. Aye! Yep. That's my team. That's my favorite team in the world right there. The Washington Commanders. I honestly like them better when they were the Washington football team. They because I was talking about this earlier. The old owner Daniel Snyder, he basically got woke guilted into changing the names from the Redskins to something else. And so he hadn't decided on what he wanted to call the team, so he went. He's got weak elbows. So Daniel Snyder had not decided on what he wanted to call the team, so as a temporary stopgap, he called them the Washington Football Team, which honestly, I loved that name. Like, I thought, like, fine. I didn't have any particularly emotional tie to Redskins. It's just like, that's what I typically default to calling them just because I called them that for so long. But the Washington Football Team was such a good name because it's like, what are you a fan of? You're a fan of the football team. You're not a fan of a Commander. You're not a fan of a Seahawk. You're a fan of a football team. And which football team? The Washington Football Team. That's what I liked about it. I could implement the Unity input system for this project. When we be able to do this more simple way, it would be good to know possible state UI canvases. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Certain player input in any UI open, a bit of edge case. Yeah. So you could make it... That's the problem. Is like knowing if you know everything ahead of time, then yeah, sure, you can build. It's easy when you know everything ahead of time. Washington Football Team government issued name. Actually, it does sound very communist. I've talked to Redskins fans and they liked Washington Football Team. I loved Washington Football Team. I liked it better than Commanders. And I had one of my favorite hats. This is now my favorite hat. This hat. But I had another Washington. I had a hat that was a Washington Football Team hat, and I loved that hat. And and I lost it in Iceland. Now some Icelandic kid is probably running around with my Washington football team hat, not realizing how lucky he was to find that hat in the snow. All right, boys, I think I'm going to wrap up a little early tonight. Let me see. Got anything over here? Anything in the Discord worth talking about? What the fuck is wrong with the Redskins? They're I mean, oh, well, it's racist. So basically what happened was a bunch of Karens who aren't football fans got wind that there was a name of a team that referred to color and skin and had nothing to do with white people. So therefore it was automatically racist and bad. So, and then demanded because they needed to feel better about themselves and basically signal to their tribe that they were good people. They complained and complained and complained. And as happened for many years, from 2014, 15 until about a year ago, these people, although I believe they are a very small minority, they are a very loud small minority. And what happened was a bunch of companies believed that the Twitter, that they basically believed that the people on Twitter were an accurate reflection of the overall general population. So companies capitulated to the loudest voices on Twitter, believing that these were that this was representative of the general population. And then therefore the Redskins had to change their name because these Karens were upset. And that's what happened. And that's why we are now with the Washington Commanders with a QB whose elbow bends that. Well, I paused this. I did not mean to pause the video where I paused it, but this was actually a perfect place to pause it. The purple haired. Yes, it was. Redskin was actually the name of a Native American warrior, and they liked the name. Yes. And I remember a couple of times the old owner, Dan Snyder, he had members from the tribe that actually, like, basically he brought them to the game and they were like, we're proud of the name and blah, blah, blah. And like, they're like the guy, like the original Redskins logo, that was an actual person. And I like, he was like some hero or something. I don't know. Redskins logo. This was actually an actual, this was not just like random Indian man, or random Native American man. This was actually an actual person. Yeah, you can see here the Washington Redskins name controversy. So did he? Yeah, I guess he changed it in 2020. 2020. Yeah, when the Karens were at their peak power, and then it seems as though the Karens are now losing power with the election. I guess which is about actually almost a exact year ago, 2024 election. I'm just curious. Was it November 5th? Oh shit! Tomorrow's voting day. I gotta go vote. I'm in Virginia. You too? Not sure? You gotta go vote. Make sure you vote tomorrow. I almost forgot about that. I got to remind my wife because she's now a U.S. citizen. So this will actually be the first time she's able to vote. Yeah. Do your civic duty. Vote tomorrow. Yep. So we'll tackle this input system a little bit more. I think this is I think it's an improvement over what we had. I kind of suspect that the perfect input system doesn't really exist. It might exist in Unreal Engine, but it doesn't exist in Unity. So if there's a team called Brownskins, should I get offended? No, you should. You should. Like, I'm actually surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs, that they haven't been under pressure to change their name. Like, Kansas City Chiefs name controversy. Oh, look at this. Yeah, there's a Wikipedia page. Kansas City Indian Center has called on the team to change the name and to stop the chop. Oh, that's right, because they like that part of their like when they scored touchdown or something, they chop them, and I guess that's racist. But you can, like, have you ever played the game like come up with a word and say is racist and search on Google, and you will inevitably find something. Sleeping is racist. Racism in sleep. Why researchers say okay. I don't know. Pineapple. Let's see. What is this? The racist message behind what? Behind American images of fruit. The racist messages behind American images of fruit. Okay. All right. I like you will not find something that is not water. Is water racist? Wait, what? In America, racism is the water. Okay, that's not quite the same thing. Water and environmental racism. Yeah. No, I'm going to get canceled for this. Luckily, since I played a Taylor Swift song earlier, this will probably be blocked in a lot of areas. So that I at least have that going for me, right? Yeah. But on that note, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you, boys. This has been a lot of fun. It's been great having like a very active chat room. Not that I don't appreciate Matthew and Not Sure as always. Love you guys. But it was fun having everybody here. Hope to see you all back on Wednesday. We will tackle this. I'm probably going to work on this some tomorrow. This input manager. I don't think what we hit here is too difficult. And actually, one nice thing about this is because there's two sides to the input management kind of. There is the input, which is going in, but then there's also like the state of the cursor of like when you show the little crosshair in the center of the screen and when you actually show the mouse cursor and things like that. So that's another side of kind of the same coin. And that should kind of come pretty easily inside of Input Manager. I just realized what I said. KS, if you let me, why don't you type up, even if it's in pseudocode, type it up. Just type out some like the idea of what you're trying to explain and put it into the Discord and we'll take a look at it. All right. I'm not discounting it by no means. I just don't understand it. So type it up, put it in Discord, and we'll take a look. All right, boys. I'll see you on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, same time. Until then, have a great day, have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.